I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out on a Saturday morning. And some have asked, why a Saturday? This is a very, very important process. My name, by the way, is Robert Santee, and I'm the chair of this committee. And I was asked to lead this process. And over the course of the last several months, we've had a number of meetings that have been I won't say town hall, but open forum discussions to get input for the new RFP process in terms of what the system will look like in the future. The objective of this meeting was to put together a town hall meeting that would talk about from the perspective of expectations. Expectations in terms of what employers want, expectations in terms of what the federal funding requirements are, and expectations that you, the public that would use the services, should have of us, and what the system should expect you to come prepared to do in terms of training, etc. And so this is an opportunity to have that discussion as we begin to think through the final steps of what that RFP process is going to look like. What this meeting is not, it is not a meeting for organizing against the effort that we're trying to put forward. It is not a meeting to come forward and say, you know, I want the city of LA to do the following. We are bound by federal requirements, state and municipal, in terms of how the system should look. And I just wanted to make that clear that I thought it would be great to have a multi-panel discussion about how our system impacts, again, employers, people, and then the end result is the folks that are going to be our end users. So I want to recap a couple of really important things, takeaways from this. Number one, as we begin to look at the system, and I want to thank all of you that shared today, but I believe we're a more horizontal organization. And business is saying we've got to be vertical. We heard it from Mr. Massey, and in some ways we heard it from Mr. Taylor and the rest of you. Looking at how do we structure vertically so people have not just a job, but a career path. I think that's what we're saying here. The second thing is business services. You know, how do we integrate business services in a broader way as we structure this RFP and our system so that we can train employers, one, on how to access resources, and two, partner with them to solve their immediate needs, which is our end users of the system. So very, very, very important. And then lastly, expedited training. So all of you know 30% of the WIB dollars is supposed to be dedicated to training. But that training has to be closely aligned with the marketplace such that a person is expedited properly and walks away with some good practical skills.
As a small business owner, we are manufacturing industry. We make plastic cards, and the car sells to the LA County Library as a library card, sell to Marriott Hotel as a hotel key card, things like that. Everyone understands to run a small business, especially manufacturing, is very difficult in the state of California. So we have a lot of difficulty every day, including customer, vendor, regulation, government official. But I have one less headache because we work with PACE Workforce for a long time. And I use EDD's website a lot of time, and not always get a good luck. And also I use private employment agency like Apple One, administrative staff, things like that. Now we have to pay a fee for that service, but not necessarily they have better workers for me than PACE Workforce. So I come here to say thank you to them. I think all of the workforce people are doing a great job for their own community. But as I said, I have one less headache, so I would like to have that kind of service. The other guys, refer the candidate to us because no relationship, therefore sometimes it's not a good match. With the relationship with them for so many years, they know how and what we need, and they can give us the best candidate. Many of the candidates at our factory already promoted, from $9 entry-level worker, become a supervisor, and become an assistant manager. So some of them are making $20 per hour today. So this is something that is win-win for them, for me, and for the employee. That's all I want to say today. We need that kind of service as small business. I don't want to move to Arizona or Nevada, as somebody mentioned about, and
we don't want you to move either.
Mexico or China. I'm sorry, okay? I've been here for 30 years already.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I would encourage all of you with your individual respective Worksource centers. You've heard me say this in committee meetings, and I continue to say it, and that is to make sure, and you heard Mr. Massey say it, make sure that you're telling your stories. Again, as a board member, I'm a policy person. I show up, I read documents, I talk to staff, and then I have to make a policy decision. But I don't live this every day. And so I appreciate the fact that you all are here and you're sharing your experience in terms of how you live this every day. So let me recap what I heard today, some of what I heard today, and then we're going to move towards adjournment for today. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone that is here and everyone that was here and has left and taking the time out of their Saturday to be here, because that's saying a lot about your commitment to this system. Earlier, when we talked about employers, we heard collaboration. We heard the need for looking at a vertical way to do business, which really validates this process. Expedited training, taking people and getting them skills ready as quickly as we can so that they can be ready for the workplace. Because as bad as things have been and are, they're going to get better, and when they do, they're going to get better fast. We have to be ready for that. The entertainment industry. Many of you heard about some of the opportunities in entertainment. If you don't know, entertainment represents $30 billion in revenue for Los Angeles County alone. $30 billion. So when you hear some of the political rhetoric that says take away arts programs and so forth, that's affecting that $30 billion. So what can we do to take advantage of that? With respect to some of the other things we heard, in some places, I won't say all, that there are potentially some customer service focus issues we need to look at and address in our RFP with respect to the end user. And that's a very key element to what we do, because that's the business we're in. Harvard Business Review talked about being fast, flat, and flexible, so building a system that can operate in that way within the confines and constructs of what we're restricted to do. Collaboration, finding ways to have partnership. In some ways, the board identifying ways to build collaboration. And we're not going to take that load from you, by the way, because we have day jobs. But you have to go out and identify that collaboration and opportunity. But having some metric for what collaboration looks like, I think, is really what we're saying. Middle skills development, really focusing areas on that for this next wave. And then partnerships. You can bank on the fact that we are going to have a very critical component to partnership. This administration, and I believe the next administration, whether it goes red or not, will have a role in what collaboration looks like. And I think you need to be looking at that, and that role being community colleges associated as a partner, not necessarily the deliverer. We'll look at that. Wage levels, these are discussions that I think you all need to take on with the mayor's office and council. It's not something, we can have that discussion too about what that really looks like, given the fact that 70% of the people you serve don't have high school diplomas. Okay, we have to look at those issues. And then understand, and we greatly understand and appreciate the fact that most of you are socio businesses. The fact that you are here to serve people. And by the way, I'm going to take that term from you. So I wrote it down and it's mine now. You can quote me for it. So anyway, that's what we heard. So lastly, I want to say this. Today we heard about the what ifs. And those what ifs really deal with the possibilities that we're going to be looking at downstream, which more likely than not is dealing with what's probable. And all of us stand a cable's length from the shoreline where opportunity is going to regularly ebb and flow. So the idea of this process is to cast our net in the tide of opportunity and make sure we have the best program like we have now and the best results for that program from our end users. So I want to thank all of you as I adjourn, and if Greg has a few words.
Yeah, I just want to say this was a great meeting. I want to thank you guys, because you're right. Coming up with a white paper, we've submitted that to CDD. We'll look at some of your suggestions. I think we've got some great suggestions in that white paper. Thank you very much. And also I want to commend Robert Santee. And to my other WIB members, Ruth Lopez Novador, and Will Scholes for coming out on Saturday and being a participant in this. Next steps, we are going to submit most of the testimony, if not all the testimony we've received from previous meetings, including this one, as well as the white paper. The department and WIB staff will be meeting over the next week to determine what we're going to do in terms of recommending to the WIB Executive Committee within this month, October, what the concepts or the framework will be for an RFP. That'll be an open meeting. You'll have an opportunity to testify before that committee once we release that document. So Manny's been here, and again, Manny's given up his Saturday for this, wanted to, instead of just reviewing the tape, we've taped this meeting, by the way, wanted to come and participate in this, and he's the key to this entire process. It goes through his division, and of course, Man is the Assistant General Manager.